Maybe the worst feeling on the tennis court is going out, playing a match, and not able to swing through the shot freely. We all know what that feels like. I certainly know what that feels like. And today I want to share some footage that I took with Jeff Greenwald when I was making my course, Upgrade Your Forehand. I'm going to play 3 to 5 minutes for you. At the end of this video, make sure you go in the description too, because Jeff's given away a free gift. You can get a couple chapters of his work absolutely 100% free. So also at the end of this video, make sure you click up in the iCard, because by the time you watch this, you may be able to get a free ticket to TennisCon. So we're kicking it off. Enjoy this. This actually worked for me today on the court. I was playing a set, and I actually was able to swing through almost every one of my shots, and I certainly had Jeff in my mind. So enjoy this video, and we'll be back at the end. So I'm really excited for my lesson today. As you know, I'm going through this update and upgrade my forehand challenge, and I wanted to bring the best of the best, literally the best people in the world to help me out, so that I know that the information I'm getting is absolutely rock solid and that you all can learn from it as well. And one of the things that when I took a lesson with Rick Macy, he said, Pete, you got to work on 5 things. Number 1 is relax, 2 is relax, 3 and 4 relax, and number 5, you can do this, is to relax. And so the best guy in the world I can think of to help me with this is Jeff Greenwald, because he is a leading sports psychologist in the world, especially when it comes to tennis. He works with a lot of top level people. And not only that, he's literally one of the best players in the world. He was the #1 player in the world in the 35s. He's won 9 national titles. Jeff, thanks so much for helping me out today.
Thanks, Peter. It's great to be with you today.
Again, like I said, I'm really, really happy that I'm going through this, because there's certain players that Jorge Capistani, another coach I respect a lot, he says, there's a range of acceptability within a stroke. And that means basically, like, if you have that, it's good enough to go compete and you don't really need to think about it so much. But there are a lot of players out there that haven't reached that level yet, to where they actually have a range of acceptability in their stroke to get to the next level. And so they actually do need to develop things and think about things. And so what are your thoughts on how to do that with somebody who does have an incomplete package technically? How do you go out there and then work it into the practice court, hitting, and get it where it's in a match? I mean, how do you do all that stuff? It can seem overwhelming.
It's a great point. It's so easy to get caught in the sea of information, and so it's so key to learn how to trust the body, how to get out of your head. I talk about giving players a remote control when I work with players on in my retreats, and personally I let them know that what we're doing is putting buttons on a remote control. So you players feel like they know they can switch gears, they can switch channels, if you will, right? If they're on the thinking channel and analyzing and judgment channel, and certainly the emotional channel, frustration that we get. But so there's a lot going on. I totally agree. And I want to give you an example of a player last week in one of my retreats, Fearless Tennis Experiences that I run. This gentleman is a complete type A, and thinks probably 2 to 3 things on every stroke, every point. I mean, he is a real thinker. And the idea that you could have a cue or two, the idea that you could sort of be present in your body when you're hitting the shot, trusting your body to do it without commanding it, was so foreign. And he was beyond a healthy skeptic. I mean, a real skeptic, but desperate to get clarity on how do you let go out there? Because he knew that what he was doing, this thinking and analyzing and every shot micromanaging, he knew he hoped there was another way. So in 2 days, and I knew, by the way, this was going to be a challenge with him, but I love a good challenge. And bit by bit, slowly in the group, and as others weighed in, he began to give himself permission to think less, to really pick one cue, and using even the loose style that we're going to discuss shortly. Being loose was actually a cue, so it wasn't so technical and micromanaging in a match situation. He's just like loose, ball, loose ball. Another player was focusing on sort of going more wide angle and letting go of all the thoughts, and using a tree that I have players, just look out the court sometimes, because we get so caught up and in the weeds on our shots. So he had trees, focusing on his feet, like very specific things that bring his attention to where he wants it. And timing's important, but letting go of 75% of all that thinking, and really coming to something that's more, footwork, active feet, loose hands, maybe follow through, or good finish. You can have some of those technical things, but it's much simpler, as I said earlier, and there's an element of trust and permission and freedom that comes with it. Because if we don't have that context of freedom and looseness, etc., it just gets all muddied. Even if you have the right technical tip, it's sort of taken away, or the impact, because you're tight, or because you have three other things that you're jumping around to. So stay specific, keep it simple, get in your body, use very, very productive cues, so you can start pressing that remote control a little bit. But less is more, no question about it.
I think that's really great. A couple of thoughts as you were talking. Number one, about not being so caught up if it's in or out, but on the feeling. I have a friend who had a friend who hit with Lendl in Connecticut when Lendl had his court. And he said that Lendl was preparing for the US Open and he was missing a lot of shots. And Lendl told him, he's like, well, I don't really care because it feels good. He's like, I know in a couple of days, those are all going to go in. So that confidence, and just that he knew that the feeling's there, they're going out now, but in a couple of days, that's just going to naturally go in without having to think about it, because I already got the feeling. I'm going to make the adjustment to hit so many balls. My body's going to figure it out in a couple of days. And we all know that Lendl, I think, got to the US Open final like 9 years in a row or something ridiculous like that. And then yesterday, I actually played with some juniors, and been a long time since I did that, and it went better than I expected. And I know I wasn't doing the stroke completely, and I was trying to think about everything, but then I said, what, just focus on the unit, just focus on the turn and the load, and that was it. And I just said, you're not gonna fix everything today, Pete. So just don't get so hung up on every little moving part. And I think that really helped.
Right. I think that simplicity that you're talking about is so key. You're focused, right, on one thing, the unit turn there, right? And that focuses your mind. And when we're focused, we tend to be a little looser, a little more relaxed. When we're focused on the wrong things, the shot we just missed, or what people think of us, or how bad that felt, we get tighter. And that again starts to interfere with your development, right, with your process. And so bringing it down to one thing like that is great. And again, I know it's challenging. I mean, this is easier said than done, to feel the sensation of the shot, when you're hitting. But when I'm warming up, and for the nationals, finals, world championships, whatever, in those moments when people are watching, they don't really know what players are doing. What I'm doing is I'm really feeling the ball. I'm tracking the ball. If I notice something's off, I might emphasize staying down and through a little bit more. I might sort of be, practice being a little bit looser through the shot, allowing myself to be looser, not panicking when you're missing a few. You're going to miss some, and it's all about adjusting. So what you mentioned about Lendl, Lendl had, and you can too, and many of the players here listening, you can develop more confidence in your ability to adjust. So if a shot goes off, you come back to that one or two cues, right? And you stick with it, and you over time you identify what is the one or two most salient cue for the stroke. So, but often I find, even for for league players, 3-5, 4-0 even, you don't. There's sort of a misconception that if you're not as good, if your strokes are not as developed yet, that you need to think more, you need to try harder. And it's really the opposite. I mean, you need to think very, very clearly about one thing and get that going, get that feeling, and often it's about being looser, about being more focused, getting your feet moving, and sort of managing your state.
Okay, what I tell you, great stuff from Jeff. Like I said, I was playing out here a set today, and I was thinking about what Jeff was saying, many of the things he was saying, and it actually helped me be relaxed. I swung through almost every shot. It felt really, really good. So make sure you download his free chapters. Also, TennisCon's coming up October 20th, Newcomb's Ranch. That's right, next week I'm gonna be driving to Texas, and we're gonna kick it off with some Grand Slam trivia, where every night you're gonna be able to win to like $250 worth of prizes plus if you play. And we're gonna be asking you questions on like the main tour, men and women's questions on the main tour. We're gonna ask you questions about the legends of the game. We're gonna ask you questions about online instructors, like, what online instructor was an All-American at Stanford and ranked in the top 100 at age 30. There's a free question. We'll definitely be asking that, so make sure you're ready on that. And so anyway, we're gonna be kicking off TennisCon. By the time you watch this video, you might be able to get a free ticket, so click up in the iCard section. Might be there for you. Also check out in the description below. Get Jeff's free chapters, super awesome coach, and we'll see you very soon. TennisCon's coming right up.